Hello everyone, let's talk about grass today. I made a lot of posts about him in the Telegram. The very first post was back in March of this year. In principle, even in the very first post, the whole sequence is described here. Everything is as simple as possible. The registration link will also be under the video. Go to it, register, download the extension. But now it's better to download a separate web application, which is even more convenient, which gives you a boost 2 points. That's all. So even now in the second season, you don't need to keep the browser tab in the background. I got 135 grass tokens at the end of the first season, and of course I wasn't as active as I could, which was naturally a bit disappointing later. But I received $135 at the end of the first season without any investments, by simply installing the extension on my browser. If we count at the current exchange rate, we can multiply it by 3. Yes. Which, accordingly, I received almost $400 without any investments. If we fix it at the current price of $3, well, I do not know who will refuse such money. I think no one will refuse for sure. Well, either he refuses, if, again, he's very worried about security, although, again, I say, I have not heard any problems that something happened there because of grass, some leaks and so on. In any case, you can always play it safe and be safe. Or at least you need to have a separate browser for this and for convenience. And anyway, you will have some kind of isolation for these applications. That is, what is happening to me. I just allocated a separate browser for them that you see here now. And all the activity of all the nodes is all which is related to me just spinning inside it. At least this will help you. Firstly, not to get confused. And secondly, to separate your work browser from the browser with nodes. If it's not possible to put it all on a separate machine, then just put it all on a separate browser. That is, you work in Chrome, or you work in Opera, or you work somewhere else. But let's say on some Brave or Heretic, like mine, you put only nodes and only what is connected with them. There are people who have received 50 to 60 tokens without referrals, and some who have received more. Accordingly, it's also very good money. And I'm sure some of it is more. That is, here you are, in principle, for scaling. If you have a lot of idle, working, home, or some kind of machines, it doesn't matter what kind. There are basically no requirements for them. It's just a running browser. By and large, they don't require any more resources. That is, at least there. Conditionally, it can be run on a calculator that has a browser. So here you can scale. And so in general everything is very simple. If we go through the practical part, that is, in almost any post, it will also be under the video link to the registration. We are opening it with you. So this is how your registration page will look like. Enter your email. Enter the username. By the way, you can also log in later using the username. So you can write something simple here. You also need to specify a valid email address, because you will need it. You will need to confirm it. And in principle, if something happens, access via mail will also be useful to you. Of course, the password is simple, and the referral code, in my opinion, they give some bonuses there or not, I don't remember. Anyway, it will not be superfluous. Therefore, here it is also not necessary to confirm it here. Confirm it here and register accordingly. After registration, go to the email address that you indicated here. Confirm your account there and then get into your personal account. Basically, it's easier for me to log in using the username, and in my opinion there was some kind of glitch that he didn't log me in at all. I just tried to log in by mail, but he wouldn't let me in, and I started it by the username. So if you suddenly have the same glitch, then just log in using the username. This is how your personal account will look like. Of course everything will be zero until you launch anything. The most important thing is that after connecting, you should have a connected light here, which means that work is happening. Points are accumulating. It's clear from the referral. Go ahead, take the link and send it if there is someone. If not, then again, you can make yourself a multiplier of the number of cars on which you will spin this grass. Under your account, there are rewards for the number of points that you will earn. The more points you earn, respectively, the further you will advance along these shooting ranges. You also need to remember that you will receive rewards for each shooting range, and you will receive an additional number of points there. As you can see, we are currently in our second season, and our first season looked like this. From scratch, you can now collect rewards, regardless of whether you participated in the first season or not. Just go in right now, install the grass and start accumulating these points. There's no problem with that, even if you weren't there in the first season. The important things that you will have to do here in this particular tab are to verify your mail so that it all looks green for you. Connect your wallet. I need a wallet on the Solana network. I use a backup. That's what it looks like. That is. You also just type in the backup extension in the search or a phantom. Whoever likes it there. I don't like the phantom, so I use a backup. Install. Save your SIT phrase. Log in and use it. And accordingly. Then you confirm the same wallet via your email. There's nothing complicated there. Just follow these steps and everything will work out there. But this point is important, because if you accumulate these points, but you don't have your email or wallet verified, then I'm almost 100% sure that you won't get anything for them. Here you will immediately have a link to a website where you can check the status of your distribution. Now it looks like this. That is, here it shows how many tokens I branded in the first season. Accordingly, if you didn't do anything in the first season, then obviously you will have 0 here. But if you suddenly miss this moment, then again, just log into Grass. Log into your personal account, and in the reward section, follow this link to brand your drop from the first season if you did anything in it. But again, if you just went to register, launch something there, held it and turned it off, you probably won't get any drop, because the minimum condition to qualify for a drop is to install this extension. In this case, the application, and you must have it for at least 100 hours. Work it out. After all these confirmations, in principle, you can do them a little later. But it's better to do it at first, so that you don't forget later. You go to the store section. In the store section, everything is simple. Here you are shown such a large banner, which you actually need. Other options that are just about the extension in the browser that will be hanging here, I think are not relevant at the moment, because by installing this desktop application, you will have double the multiplier on your rewards. That is, why do you need to earn twice as much and you can earn twice as much? So I definitely advise everyone to use this here. If suddenly, in some rare case, for some reason this doesn't work for you and something there doesn't work for you, it turns out well, then yes, as the most recent option, you can put this Chrome extension. But in principle, Brave gets up on Gerent. This one I'm sure they'll all get up there in principle. They are based on Chrome. So you registered the profile, came here, clicked on download, you downloaded it, you opened it, you install it, and then log in with the same data that you entered here, with the same email, with the same password, and with the same profile name. That is, again, my login goes through the profile name everywhere here. Let me show you what this app actually looks like. That is, as soon as you downloaded it, installed it, logged in, you basically immediately see this picture. Naturally, you will have your own balance here, but all its functionality will be that you will need to press this button and make sure that you have it connected. Otherwise, you don't really need to configure anything here. The only thing is that in the settings you can enable automatic updates and automatic start of the application when your system starts, for example, after a reboot. And so, in principle, that's it. The video messages went through. You registered in the office, installed this application, logged in according to your data, clicked on this one and saw that everything turned green here. You can turn everything off and let it spin behind this icon in your tray. In general, even without opening the application, you can keep track if the icon is next to the time. If it's green for you, then it's okay. If it's red, then come in and see what the problem is. Do you repress this button or just restart it? Everything is so simple and elementary, and Grass is now, in general, the flagship in all these browser nodes to play. I think you need to do it. Turn it on in the background. You don't even need to do it. You just registered it all once, you put it in the background, and it gradually accumulates these points for you. As with all other nodes, which I also wrote about and gave detailed information about in the Telegram, which, I think, definitely need to be twisted in parallel, and not limited to just which one. At least here it is clear what we can be paid for one way or another. But unlike some absolutely useless tapples, where there is already some kind of overflow of this empty traffic, from what you have tapped on the screen, you have not brought any intrinsic value and benefit to the application. And here, besides the fact that you don't need to tap, you don't need to get involved, you spend some time anyway. You spend time here once to register and install everything. And then you can do anything calmly. Just making sure that you have it properly accumulates these points. I find this a much more interesting preferred activity. You need to understand that Telegram applications are different Not all of them are flip-flops. There is the same terminal that I talked about in the last video, which really allows you to earn very good returns. Now there are other useful Telegram mini applications. There are just interesting gamified Telegram applications, and there is something like Memphi, Hamster Combat, and the same with them. This really looks as useless as possible, and, in fact, it is already beginning to become obsolete. And I think many people already see and understand this. Therefore, the entire list of Telegram applications that I work on every day, they are always available in the Telegram channel. I am constantly updating it. In parallel with those activities, it is definitely necessary to do such things. So thank you for your attention. I hope it was useful. If something is unclear, any questions, then ask accordingly in the comments, and on that, thanks to everyone and bye to everyone.